What's up, everybody? I hope that has got the body moving, got us all excited and all looking good. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Crypto Banter. Welcome to the best YouTube channel out there, the best crypto channel out there. What is Crypto Banter? What do we do, guys? We bring you guys technical analysis every single day, as well as fundamentals. We have taken the two biggest parts of what runs crypto, and we have brought it all together to give you one educational place where you get the entry zones. Where are the coins safe? Where are we buying? What coins are we getting into? With fundamentals and technicals, as well as education, guys, as well as bringing education and teaching you guys how to fish. Yes, we are helping you guys to fish, but ideally the ultimate goal is to get you guys learning how to fish, to make your own decisions, to protect yourself at any single point. So welcome to Crypto Banter. I hope you're all doing very, very well. I hope we're all getting ready for the weekend. What is the first thing I need you guys to be doing for us? I need you to be hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, guys. Following myself on Twitter, Sheldon_Sniper, following Ran on Twitter, Crypto Man Ran. What does this do, guys? This will give you all the updates happening on the channel. It will give you a lot of key tips. I'll be posting charts on there, mostly on Bitcoin right now, because that is the main one that we are continuously focusing on. And what does it do as well, guys? This gets you into a lot of different opportunities for all of you. The first one we're looking at is definitely the banter bags, guys. Now, before I get into the banter bags, I'd love to be playing. Let's have a look here. Okay, anyway, I'm having a look there. So, guys, what is the banter bags? The banter bags is a giveaway we're giving out to the community. We gave our first ones at 250,000 subscribers. Now we are giving again at 500,000 subscribers. What are we doing? We've taken a set amount of cash, $10,000. I think it actually might be more this time, but we have put them into allocations for you guys, and we give these bags away. We are still choosing if this time I think it is going to be more people, between 10, 20, 30 people, and we're giving that to you guys when we hit that. The only way you do apply for that is obviously by hitting that like, sharing, following us on Twitter, following our Instagram page. Remember, guys, under the description below is the correct links that you need to be using and the right profiles. Please make sure there's a lot of scammers out there, a lot of guys that are trying to copy us. I will not ask you for money. Rand will not ask you for money. We will not ask you to DM us. We do this to protect you, and all the scammers are trying to create these fake profiles of ours and asking you this from you guys. Everything we do at Crypto Banter is for free. So we got the education, the updates, the TA, and obviously we have the Sniper School, guys. Now, before I do get into the Sniper School, here is a brilliant video we've gotten from our community. I've asked the community to start sharing with us, giving us ideas, adding to the show, and love what we are doing. Have a look, guys.
Oh, Sniper School, to prove to Ran that I'm not a fool. I got my lunch packed up, my boots tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Oh, Sniper School. Oh, here comes the bus. Well, here comes Sheldon.
So what is a Sniper School, guys? Firstly, what I do want to do, buddy, you have given us so many great videos, and you're really creating an amazing show for us, for helping us with sending these amazing videos. So, buddy, you have sent us a few. You are in the Sniper School, buddy. Thank you. I saw that bus that drive past there on the video. The bus has now reversed back, and we have now put you on the Sniper School bus, buddy. So congratulations. Thank you for adding that. Guys, what is the Sniper School? The Sniper School is going to be the biggest crypto and biggest school in the world. This is going to be free to all. What we do have that's quite exciting is Rand's got this idea that we want to make. You know, we've been talking about this 100 members, and we're wanting to test trial the school. What we want to actually do is we want to see what's the biggest online course that has ever happened, and we want to beat that. We want to have the biggest launch off. So I'll give you guys updates on that next week. We're going to make this bigger. We're going to make it larger. At the end of the day, it's to hit the masses. So make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And I think let's get into it, guys. What is the main story for today? What is the towel? the towel is telling us that something is happening, right? There's a surprise coming. And what is the surprise? Now, there is a big move coming in the market. Let's get this set up. There we go. So quickly now, getting back to what has happened now in the last week. We've had this resistance break. Bitcoin finally made the higher high. We're finally starting to progress upwards. And now we are coming down. Since yesterday's call, we are coming down to these areas. When we were all in the zone, I saw everyone was saying, must we buy? Must we buy? We should have bought the breakout. Guys, do you see the power of understanding that the retests are really, really good strategized entries? Because we have a brilliant trend line in play. But when we are entering and we're starting to buy the dips in the market, we have strategized exit plans as well. We have a plan B that always comes into play. What is our main 3 rules? And I hope you guys have written it down. There's something I do want to add today before, because what we do as well have at the end of the session, make sure you do stay at the end, guys. If we have the sniper's wisdom, I'm coming with another key thing to add to your portfolio. But you guys need to be building this, either if it's in a book or if it's anything, that all these rules and all these things that I'm giving you guys every day, please be jotting down. And another big one that I've learned from my teammates as well is getting a big whiteboard and putting that big whiteboard in your office or in your backspace and writing down these rules and these sessions that I'm giving with you guys every day, so that it's always built in. Sorry. And you always have somewhere to go back to, and it reminds you every day you walk in, there's your rules, there's your systems. That's the most difficult part of trading, is everything is going to try to pull you away from your initial intent of what you wanted to start in the markets. And sometimes you get sidetracked. Like I was getting very FOMO-ish 2 months ago into the little coins. And now we can see when the market turns that we shouldn't actually be doing that. That should be a very small part of our portfolio. So we always have these reminders. So make sure you are reminding yourself to continuously update your knowledge and know that you have rules when you're trading as a thing. You need to be a structured trader, not a what do you call it, a loose cannon trader, where you just sort of take it as it flows. Consistency will always win the race, guys. So what's happening? Bitcoin is now pulling into that zone. Okay, pulling into the buy zone. I updated it yesterday or the day before to say that I'm bringing that zone down to 36,500, and I'm actually putting down that zone that we can actually go to 36,000 in that sort of region. And these are the dips where I am laddering in. We've also learned now that we always have a little bit of spare cash. I know there are 2 different types, some guys that are fully invested in the market right now and some that are getting in. And for the hodling type, for higher time frame, I am making sure that for the entries that we are getting now, the ones that we are focusing on right now, is this long-term wallet of mine. This long-term wallet is the one that I'm focusing on, the entries that we are currently getting to now. From next week, when we finally have a decision, because what has happened now is we've been focusing this whole week on this death cross. And let me show you what's happened now. Now we're starting to get the reaction, right? But if I show you, there we go. Look at that cross, guys. It's right there. Nothing can stop it. It's going to happen. And we're starting to get that small reaction. Remember what we said about last time when we had this reaction, and that was after, there we go. Where's the March drop? Let's get back. There we go. I've still circled it out there for you guys over there. That's what happened last time. Do you see this little reaction? But remember what we said previously, that the damage was already done. There's all the damage. This is just the moving averages that are late to the party and showing you now that there was a bearish move. But all of that damage that happened then, the moving averages are only showing it to you now. And the same thing that's happened over here, what's happened recently, there we go. All the damage that's being done, well, that was already done. Look how far behind these moving averages are. So they are a powerful strategy, but they're very delayed, guys. They're very, very far back. They're only showing you now that we're getting a lot of bearishness in the market, yet it's all already happened. So remember how these work. They are lagging indicators, and the best way to use them is as sort of support and resistance. So what is happening now is we are getting that little pullback, that little negative effect for this death cross happening. Now, does that mean it's over? Does that mean we're going into a full bear cycle? For the last 3 death crosses that we have, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all. It was just showing what happened previously. Now we're at that point now where since that was the reaction. There we can see it clearly. And it's a very similar reaction to what we're getting right now. And then we just continue dragging up, dragging up, dragging up. Now, this was the same thing that I was saying now for the last week, that I see Bitcoin growing slowly, not just shooting up to the moon. We've had a huge drop in the market. It takes time to get out of it. This took at least 2-3 months to get out of. And it's the same way that I see things happening now with what's happened recently, is that Bitcoin is going to slowly grind up. And you can see how similar this is looking to what has happened there previously. Now, obviously, what we do need when we start growing, gradually moving up, is in the next month or two, we need Bitcoin to get back above those MAs again, get back above 44, 45. But as a chart-wise, this is beautiful on where we're sitting, where we have the breakthrough, we got the higher high, and now we're coming and testing. Now, there's always two scenarios that can play out. Let's get rid of these moving averages. Now, what are the two scenarios and what are the danger zones for what's happening now? This is where I've been laddering in. I've started laddering in these zones, and all those alts that I've been talking about are all in those buy zones now, where I am buying for what? For this 70% of my portfolio. The long-term portfolio is what I'm stocking up. When we have a clear decision in the market and this cross of death has happened and we've had movement and we can see what has basically happened, then we jump back into our spot wallet and I start showing you guys the power of making 5 and 2.5% trades. That's coming. But right now, we are focusing on the bigger part of our portfolios. We are focusing that we, for the first time, are fishing with the whales. I saw that from a comment this morning from a message. And that's a brilliant way to say it. We are fishing with the whales. We are driving off people's fear. And we are buying coins from other people off of their fear. And obviously us going off the bullish segment of what we are getting clearly on the charts. So what is to happen, guys? This is where I see us now for the day. Because if I show you now what's the RSIs doing for us, remember these stochastic RSIs, very powerful little tools. Why have we had this pullback was because this 8-hour RSI needed to make its way down. So let's make it that bigger for everyone. There we go. So we got the 8-hour RSI making its way down. And on the next, there's 5 hours left. Okay. On the next portion of the thing, that's where I see this now starting to turn. And then we know the bulls are going to have their turn. So what's happening currently? We had a low, we had a high, higher low, higher high. Currently, we're still sitting at a higher low right now. We are getting bottomed out on the 8-hour. You could see the power of buying the previous 8-hour bottom. You would have bought at that zone over there. If you bought the one before that, you would have bought at that zone over there. If you bought the one before that, you would have bought on this big dip over here. So showing you just by the power of the RSI and using higher time frame RSIs, if you bought there, you would have bought in this candle over there. If you bought there, you would have bought over there. There we go. And you can see when we finally get to these oversold territories, anywhere under the 20% marks, you can see how the bulls have their fight after that. So we got the higher highs, higher lows. Now we're going to attempt for the higher high again. This is just the reaction from the death cross that's happening right now. People are starting to foam. And it actually makes sense. I was wondering, why do people wait? If they know the death cross is going to happen, why do people wait for the cross to happen? Why would they not be selling before? And this is what we've been getting for the last 2-3 days. That there's nothing that's going to stop that cross. So it makes sense that people are starting to sell before. And then when the cross happens and there's not much reaction to it, then it sort of slows down and continues its journey. But chart-wise, this is looking really good. Now, I've now dropped this for Bitcoin that I'm looking to laddering even to the possibility of 36. And you can see we're starting to accelerate. But look at the difference now, guys. When we know the market is really in a strong amount of danger, with Bitcoin especially, everything usually tanks way worse when we know we start getting to this really acceleration, this big acceleration downwards, right? We know that this dominance goes berserk. The first time when Bitcoin dropped from 50 all the way down to 30, this dominance absolutely shot up. And that was this big move over here. Look how that dominance moved. It literally shot up huge. Now we're at that point where dominance that we spoke about yesterday is calming down. It's slowing down in the market and where we're sitting. So now it's showing me that when this is not really reacting strong to what's happening to Bitcoin, it's temporary, it's short term, because they will do anything to protect Bitcoin if it really starts to accelerate. And what are we seeing right now? We're seeing alts that are falling 3%, 4%, 1%, 2%, and Bitcoin's falling 2.5%. That means everything is slowly getting dragged together. We don't have a big separation. And when I always see big things happening in the market, especially huge dumps, there becomes a huge difference. Remember that time of Bitcoin fell 30%, 40% in that day. The alts fell 60% that day. Now we're at the stage where the alts are falling very similar with Bitcoin. And that's always a good sign for me that we're not getting this huge, massive dominance candle up and Bitcoin coming down. Because that will be a concern to say, okay, we're starting to accelerate now. That they're doing whatever they can to hold Bitcoin. And when we know that Bitcoin needs the backing of the alts, It means we're really starting to accelerate. That's the danger signs. Where right now, everything is sort of dragging, and we know that this dominance is losing steam right now. It is not trailing up as fast as what it was. And we are tracking this sort of sideways move. And we know when we start slowing down like this is when we start making our way to the downward side, which means there can be another 5-10% coming from dominance back into the alts. And that's when I see the bounce for Bitcoin, is when I see the alts really starting to push up strong with it. So the whole week that we've been practicing, the whole week that we've been sitting listening to these calls, is all for this damn, let's have a look, 70% of our portfolio. The rest we're going to play with next week. But we are focusing on the bigger parts now and what we're getting in. So what's the two scenarios before I jump onto the next coins with Bitcoin now? Bitcoin is now, let's get rid of that. There we go. 4-hour RSI to the bottom, right? There's a 4-hour RSI at the bottom, 8 hours to the bottom. So we know the bulls are going to try fight back now. The bulls are going to try push. What's so important for Bitcoin to do now, especially if it's over the weekend or it can be by Monday, is that we have to get back above 42,000. We have to make the higher high. We got to go closer to that cross of death. We got to get closer to that level, because where are those levels? We have a look on the daily quick. Where's the 200 sitting? The 200 sitting all the way there. So we need Bitcoin to start progressing in this next week coming, especially over the weekend. We'll see as a but this is what we need. Now, what we don't want from Bitcoin is to obviously make the lower low. Now, if we do make the lower low, what this basically intends is that we'll play out this bearish head and shoulders, where we have the main head, we have the shoulder. Let me just draw that up a thing and down. There we go. Okay, is where we actually come down. We make the lower low. Let's bring that down. There we go. We have the right shoulder. And what that means is I'm stocking up in this zone for the larger time frame, because I don't care what anyone. Let me show you here quickly. Look at this weekly. What is that weekly stochastic RSI doing, guys? Look at the bottom there. Let's make it bigger so we can see. The 70% means, the 70% of my portfolio means that I want to buy and hold these coins for the next 3 months, 6 months. Where's a good entry? Where am I going to make money over months and not have to put a lot of hard work in? You don't want to have to work too hard for your money, guys. That's why we have the different sections of our portfolios. But the last time that we ever had, we were at the bottom of the weekly RSI was when Bitcoin was $10,000. Before that, Bitcoin was $5,000. We are there again, and we are even more oversold than what we have been in the last 2 occasions. So do you see higher time frames where we're actually sitting right now? This is where I'm laddering in my longer term investments. So what we're looking at now is, and we just got another beautiful bounce. Let's just get in here again, get rid of all my drawings. There we go. Do you see how we're bouncing beautifully on this trend line, guys? It's a powerful strategy to know that buying the breakout, buying the test. Look how we're coming down and testing, and look how we are fighting in these zones. And I know now that the bulls are starting to fight. Now, what do we do now for the weekend? Okay, I'm laddering in this zone. I know my danger zone is sitting at these levels. Okay, but I also know if we make the lower low, we're going to come up and test. It's going to be the head and shoulders, which means where I'm stocking up right now, if it doesn't work, will be my exit points. But look how strong we are pulling up from these zones, guys. This is my buy. This is where I'm laddering in, buying the dips, buying the dips, buying the dips. And we will then see if we make the lower low, it will attempt for the high. And if we don't get where we need to get, we can start freeing up some cash without any loss. So remember that as well. So what I need now, so that's the bearish side, is if we make the lower low. But let's first get this bullish side. Let's see what the bulls does. Now, what I'm doing here is we are going to track slowly in the zone here, okay? And there is my new. So I had the yesterday's trend line, which was sitting like this, okay? But now we've accelerated more to the downside. So I want to track that. I want to catch this early. Now, I know that we can trail for the next few hours. Let's just make it bigger. That we can trail in the zone and boom, breakout. So I'm laddering in, and I'm keeping, and I'm laddering again on that breakout. We get the breakout. That's where I know RSIs are going up. The bulls are now fighting. We've made the higher low. We are still, doesn't matter what anyone says right now. And if we look at the chart, Bitcoin is trending upwards. Right now, it is trending upwards. Higher highs, higher lows. We are going up. Until there's some sort of shift, I am sticking whatever that I'm erasing emotion, I'm erasing FUD, I'm erasing all of these things from my strategy. And this is the way we're playing the game. So Bitcoin's at that stage. So bearish scenario, we make the lower low. we start to sell off on the retest up. From here, bullish scenario, we hover here for the next 8-hour candle to close. We can see there's still 5 hours left for the 8-hour. Boom, get the breakout. Then we know Bitcoin's going for that higher high again. Bitcoin's going to eat. Now, what is the reason that Bitcoin needs to be bullish? Firstly, we know fundamentals, it's huge. But what's the next reason for Bitcoin really to accelerate strongly up? Because I got a big feeling that volume is really going to come in. We are going to get a surprise move over this weekend or in the next few days. I think this weekend, but I think we're really going to have a strong, and that is still the same thing we've been talking about these damn shorts, guys. Look at these shorts. They are still not slowing down. People are still adding in their shorts. They are still building this. And this is where the guys can make all the money and all the whales can make all this money. So the way that the bulls want this to play out is to get all of that money. What do they got to do? They got to send Bitcoin through the roof. They got to send it from here and accelerate it up to at least the 44, 43 in that zone. That will liquidate all of them. Then we can have another small pullback. Test these supports. And then go to the next move upwards. So I'm laddering in on Bitcoin now. I do have the bearish scenario in play, always. I have the 2-second sides, but right now, everything's shouting bullish to me right now. RSIs are getting to the bottom. We let the bulls, let's chase that higher high, and let's see what we get, because everyone is worrying about this cross of death. But no one's actually going to do anything when the cross of death happens. They knew it was going to come. We've been knowing for days the cross of death is going to come. So why would you sell when it happens? When you know it's going to happen, you'd rather sell before, right? And that's what I'm seeing here. This is the reaction that I'm seeing. It's repeating from what happened last year. Very, very similar. Not the exact same, but very, very similar. What does Rudo say? It doesn't repeat, it does rhyme. So that's looking good, guys. So Bitcoin, great. I see we have an update there. Is that this on the likes? Guys, likes are not high enough. I'm coming to you with amazing education into the call. Get those likes up, get those likes up, get those likes up. We did have also, let's just put up the thing here, the backstage pass. I selected 3 yesterday. We are extending that to Monday so we can get a fresh start every week. But I'm also choosing another 2 people today for the backstage pass for Monday. And every day we are going to have the backstage where you get to sit with me before the show and see what we do, have a chat, introduce yourself. It's a really, really nice way that we can have a chat, and it's a lot easier. So that's Bitcoin. We know the dominance is looking weak. It's looking in the favor. Now, what's happening with the total market cap? Total market cap is in buy zone if it was a coin. Okay, it's come down, gradually down. And what's also very nice about this, guys, is we are trailing down in the market. But if I show you this, we are not increasing volume. And that's always a very key indicator in the market, is when something is going one direction, you want volume to always be backing it. Otherwise, it's a temporary move. It's not showing you that just means that there's not a lot of sellers there, but you can see that we are trailing down, volume's not increasing. So for a buying purpose, if this was a coin, that's a buy, because we're still making higher lows. We're still not breaking. We are just coming to test support. And from this, if we can have the drop in the dominance, so this is the way I want to paint it up before I get into the alts now. Drop in dominance, push in Bitcoin, and total market cap break out of the wedge. Boom. Then we are on. We are sitting on entries that we can hold for next and not even have to worry. We are sitting at the bottom. Remember where we are buying these coins, guys. We're not buying it after a 70% pump. We're buying these coins on a 50% drop, and that's a special. So always understand that. So total's looking good. So quickly going through this, guys, and then I'm going to get into the education. Because I've been going through this. I'm only focusing on our 70% portfolio this week. The shorter term trades, it's quite tough to be trading shorter terms right now because it's just so, we're going to get where we focus to that. Right now, let's get the bigger parts in. So there's Ethereum in buy zone. I told you, every time I dip in there, I'm buying the dips, buying the dip strategy. And look how we are still hovering beautifully. This is preparation for the next move, guys. This is preparation. So Ethereum still, if you can get it near, I'm not sure if it's going to get to the $2,000 mark, but the 2,000 to the 2,350, that is my top-up zone still for Ethereum. Same with all of them. DOT, we are in buy zone for DOT. Between $19, $22, I am stocking up. I'm buying every dip. We are fishing with the whales. We are fishing with the whales. The whales are the ones buying all of these little bits. And you can see here, guys, do you look at this? I want to show you quickly on ADA here, so you can understand what I mean. Look there. Price coming down, right? What's volume doing, guys? What's volume doing? Is it going up? Does it mean that the momentum that everyone is agreeing right now on the price going down? Definitely not. You want to see volume increasing and a direction happening clear on the chart. We don't have that. That volume is so low right now, but yet the price is coming down. Temporary, guys, short term. We're not getting the backing from the volume. So ADA, brilliant buy. Only one that's not pulling back quite strong is BNB. So what's nice with BNB is if you did miss the buys when we were in our zones previously in the week, is to take this new trend line. I'm just going to draw it up for you guys quickly. Put that trend line in there. Put that trend line in there. Track it down. When we break that trend line, BNB is a buy. And this is 8 hour. This is higher time frame. There's the buy zone. Boom. Get the breakout to that. And we know that the massive imbalance are sitting in these areas. So there's big growth to happen from the alts. Alts have so much catching up to do. So BNB is the next one. We may not get to the zone, but we can get the breakout. And that's always a good buy. Same with Chainlink. Chainlink, still on that right shoulder. Great buy. Anywhere, $19, $23. Great add-on zone. And the list goes on, guys. All of them are showing us that we are in those zones. Matic, buy zone. Ruin, buy zone. Luna, buy zone. Solana, a little bit more accelerated, but look at this. This is where this 200 MA is very important. It's holding that 200 MA. So that's good. So now you take your new trend line, you draw it in, boom. Break out of that. Solana is going for the next higher targets. Solana hasn't retraced much from that big move. There we go. So you put that trend line in. So if you're not in these clear buy zones, use a trend line, buy the breakout. Very simple. There's EGLD in the buy zone. I'm buying these dubs, guys. There's Kusama. Guys, Kusama's back at 330. There's a good deal. Anywhere, 280, 330, 340. I'm buying those dubs. Good deal. Arweave, just outside. So what I do, and Arweave is already showing us something that we had a trend line. There's our trend line. What is it doing? So let's make that bigger so you all can see. You see how simple it is, guys? If you don't get it on a support buy, you put your trend line in. There we broke. Now what are we doing? We're coming to test. Buy the test. Previous low, put your stop loss. Very simple, guys. If we've broken out a trend, we should not come back into that trend. That helps you with your stop loss areas. Uni in the top of the buy zone, higher low still. But anywhere, if you can get it cheaper, if it does, same thing. Take your trend line. How do I know? So I buy the dip now. I have some extra cash. Put your trend line in. Break of the next trend line. We are in. This is high time frame, guys. GRT in the buy zone. So every single coin I've listened to this week, they were all above the buy zones, and now they're all in the buy zones. So everything is working great to plan. Everything's working strong, and Bitcoin is getting a very strong reaction in this zone. Remember candles, and I want to quickly do this before I jump into the thing. Guys, we want to see this from a candle. When you see a candle pulling up in these zones, and they're making these sort of doji, or they're making a pin bar candle, which means it's got a long tail. Okay, it's got a long wick that comes in the zone. You want to see a candle that does this. These are usually reversal candles. Look what happened up here. When you get it in the upward side, you see how the price comes down. You want to see a candle like that here. And this is the same candle that's forming. We touched our support beautifully. We are getting the zone, and you'll see no volume is backing this move. Trend is going down. Volume is going down. We are not getting the volume that is backing that move. Now, when do we get the volume? When we get the breakout of this trend, this test, boom, what's going to happen? Volume starts to trail up. That's exactly what we want. So the charts are still showing everything is working to plan. And remember, we are focusing on the 70% rule of our portfolio. So I hope you guys have the two scenarios. The bearish one with Bitcoin. Remember what I said? The lower low. That means all the alts are going to make lower low. Everything is going to roll together. We're still flowing together. Dominance is not making a clear direction. It's running with it at the time. So for now, everything is looking strongly bullish. And if anything does turn at any single point, we will be aware of it, and we will have exit plans to make sure we are getting a lot lower. But I'm bullish. I'm a bull. Very much right now, because higher time frame, I'm looking at that weekly. I'm looking at that, and that's what's important to me. So what's next, guys? I think let's get into some wisdom. Let's get into the next part where make sure your charts are updated. Make sure you've taken this down. Guys, that dollar currency on Twitter, he's always posting the updates, always posting the summary of the day. That's so important that you can keep track of everything and understand what was said. It's all summarized. And also look to pause and put these trend lines. Play with me and work with me on this. So, guys, what are we getting on with the Sniper's Wisdom today? We've been going on about this whole portfolio system. Okay. And you remember, it doesn't matter the time, the sort of times that you want to trade a week. This could work if you want to trade once a day, once a week, once a month. It's the same structure. It all matters on your sort of likes. We also went through that the spot wallet is the soldier, and this is the one we're going to get through today. And the next 2-3 days, I'm going to be focusing on the long term, getting all the coins, the pie charts out. What are the amounts of percents? What is the goal for that thing for the next year, as well as the cash wallet is the next one that I'm going to be focusing on as well. But yesterday, quick recap, this is it. You need to summarize it down to make sure that your life is easy. If you want to make $50 a day, make sure you want to build those wallets to these decent sizes, that the percentages are realistic to make that sort of money consistently, even if it's in a bear market. Because, and one thing I do want to add with that, guys, is when you do want to make these trades, doesn't mean you have to take the profit there and there, but you can put your stop loss at that profit zone. So no matter what, you've made your profit for the day. It's all little systems that we are going to use. I think as we get in, I did forget 1 or 2 things, guys. As I get in quickly, I just want to go through this fan mail quickly. It's very important. You can see I'm starting to include the community. I'm starting to include all of you into this. So keep sending videos, keep sending love. It helps us just pick up the momentum of how everyone's feeling right now. I know this market hasn't really lifted anyone's sort of boost in this thing, and it's very important, guys. So hi, Sheldon, decided to write you because you said that this is giving you energy, and since you're giving all of us this energy, but not sorry, I'm getting confused. Since you're giving to all of us not only energy but food on the table, I just want to express my gratitude. I'm a father who was looking for ways of making more money for his family. I found you and ran and never missed a second of your shows. You changed my life, guys, and even yesterday I made my first $50. Well done, buddy. Well done, well done, well done. Based on your strategy, some people are remembered, some not, but you guys will change generations of families across the world. No words can ever say big enough thank you. Hope you and Rand managed to read this. If you trade well, my friend. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I hope you're trading well, buddy. I'm so proud you made your first $50. Well done. Write what you did right. When you don't make it for the day, write what you did wrong. Keep learning, keep progressing as we start moving. So now that we got some fan mail out, guys, what I want to focus on today is spot wallets. So the first section that I want us to do is, here we go. You got your spot wallet, right? This is what gets done now. Any profit that gets made out of your spot wallet, that's your profit, right? What happens with those profits? 33% back into your spot wallet. 33% into your long-term wallets. You are going to select those long-term wallet coins. That's all Rand's fundamental gems, ones that are going to survive the bear market. Then you got 33% that's going to go into your cash portfolio. I'm now going to set rules, goals, and systems for each wallet portfolio for you, so you know how each one runs. Okay, now the first one that I want to select on today is the spot wallet. This is where, guys, I'll post all of this on my Twitter as well. I do post them on my Twitter, so this is where you'll find the slides, so you can make sure you take all the notes. But here it is. So with spot wallets, what does it come with? You got to have the tools that you're going to use to make this money. You have to have the purpose of why you are using this wallet. You got to have the goals, and you got to have your rules. So my simple strategy of that, what we've been teaching you guys, is what is my tools? My tools and the spot wallet runs off of 1 hour, 4 hour, and 8 hour candles. What is that, guys? Let's jump here quick. Share the screen. There we go. What is that? That are these little gems here on the top, or these little sections. My 1 hour, my 4 hour, my 8 hour. So for me to do the spot wallet and to start becoming a consistent trader, what are the tools that I need? I need to use these 3 time frames. What's the next tool that I need to use? Is the simplicity of understanding trend lines, which I give you every day. I give you breakout trends. I give you all these things. So trend lines. And what's the third thing you need? Stochastic RSI. The simplicity is, if you want to start making this cash, you need a very simple rule. And all that I need is a trend line and a stochastic RSI. If I'm using a 1 hour or a 4 hour, make sure that when I'm entering that trade, I'm entering the bottom. Anywhere in the 20% zone is where I'm entering on the 4 hour. Okay? On a breakout of a trend is the next section. So when we are getting the breakout of the trends, I want to make sure, and this is how I want this to play out. I want this to start turning to break that trend. I want the RSI to start turning to have the cross. Boom. There's my buy. There's my buy. So that already now helps me indicate how do I get this money? And that's by using the little system of just using those simple. But what's the difference now? Now you got a way that you can enter trades, right? You got two little indicators that give you, and you got me every day to help you with these trend lines. What's the second thing to understand? That when you are sending out that trade, it has a purpose. And the purpose is to build your long-term, build your cash wallet, and to add more to your spot wallet. That's what the purpose is. It's this simple rule over there. That's what the whole purpose is, which means you always need to have an exit plan, which means you need to pre-select that exit plan. And that works off anything that you wanted out of the trade. You've now planned the trade. You've planned what you want to make out of the trade. So when you get that entry and you get into that zone, the main thing to understand that, okay, what's the goal? Let's get into that first. Is to give you cash, obviously to build your cash wallet, to build your long-term, and to ideally, if you can get your structure of your portfolio to this, you're starting to become a successful trader. When you only have 20 to 30% in your spot wallet, and you got the remaining sitting in your long term, and you have enough money in your spot wallet to generate this easily, then you are starting to get a balanced spot wallet. So if you're a new trader now that doesn't have enough now to just take 70% and put away, you have to build your account so that it's like this, where you have 70%, where you are able to have enough money that can always remember what a spot wallet is. A spot wallet is a money maker. It's for whenever I'm home and I need to make some money. I have something. I have something to work with. The rest needs to be sitting in long terms, because when I'm entering a spot wallet trade, I'm getting out whenever I hit my target. I don't care if it goes more. I don't care if it goes less. Whatever happens, I've made the money. I know what to do with it. I have 70% of my long term that are sitting that will make me. So it doesn't matter if I got out early, I still have the remaining that can keep going. So I don't have to worry about that fear or anything like that. So with your spot wallet is you need to get to the area. That's when you're becoming a good, successful trader, is when your portfolio is balanced. When you have enough in your spot wallet that you can leave 70% in your long term. And then we obviously have the cash wallet. And that's how this little flipping or this little section starts to happen. Okay, now what are my rules? Your rules is your game plan. You got to have a strict entry point, a stop loss, and a take profit zone. Your risk, how much am I risking? Where am I entering? Why am I entering? Stochastic at the bottom, break a trend. Okay. And my take profit points. How much do I want to make out of this trade? I want to make $200. Okay, cool. How much money do I have? Okay, that's how much I have. Okay, cool. That means I got to get 10% for my trade. Cool. There's your exit point. So now you got all three already planned. Now, don't trade more than 2 to 3 trades at a time. Don't be trading more than 2 to 3 coins at a time. Get consistent. Start trading with 2 coins, 3 coins, anywhere in that region. That's what you start. If you trade 10 coins, you're going to have to manage 10 coins. You're going to end up screwing your whole damn platform, your whole little structure up. Start small. And even for your spot, it doesn't matter how skilled you are. Don't even go more than 2 to 3 trades. Okay. The next rule, you got to move that trade to break even quickly. You have to make that trade of yours. Let's get rid of this for now so I can chat. You have to make that trade of yours free. Remember what we always said. First goal, get in, put your risk, but then make that trade free. So that's another very important rule to understand, that you got to move that when you finally break up and you make your way to the upside, make that trade for free, move that stop loss up to that free zone. If that trade now accelerates, you've only put it in for 10%, right? Or 5%, but now it really goes and you're getting 15%. Put your stop loss wherever your target was, which means you're not limiting that it can stop making money. That thing can keep going and end up making you 50%. But the main thing is you've put your stop loss at your target point. So no matter what, you make your $100 for the trade. Okay. And then obviously the next rule, move your profits into long-term, move it into cash. Do not reinvest the money. What I mean by this, guys, is don't keep compounding your spot wallet. Your spot wallet's there for a job only. Only build it by 30% of your profits, because you're going to have one bad trade where it's going to hit, and you want majority of your money sitting in your cash and sitting in your long-term. So don't compound it. Only compound it to your rule system, and your rule system is simple: 33%. Very easy. Always keep 20% in cash for dips. That's our cash section. I am going to go through that on Monday. And remember now, big part. This is emotionless trading, which means that every day, what do we go through? We go through our marriage coins, the ones that are great fundamentally. The difference with the spot wallet is it's a solder to make money. So when Doge news comes out and Doge breaks a trend, you can trade Doge. It's not a love me coin, but have your exit points, have your stop loss, have it in. So the difference between your spot and your long-term is your long-term are good fundamental love coins, marriage coins. Your spot wallet is your one-night stands and your date me. There's no emotion to that. It's simple. I'm using you, I'm making this money, and I'm getting out. That's the simplicity of that wallet. So it's emotionless trading, and it's not for long-term. One-night stand or dating coin, not a marriage coin. So guys, that's the basic understanding of what the spot wallet is. It's a tool. It's a generating tool. Like I said, you want to go buy yourself something, you want to go for dinner with the family, you want to do anything, no problem. I use my spot wallet. I don't touch my money in my long term. I don't touch my money in my cash section. Those are not there for the day. Those are not there for the job. That is my money making wallet that I need to be using through all of it. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. I think let's get on the comments here. Craig, if you can, are those ones that you did one? So I'm going to select, we do have 2 winners that we are going to select. I don't see their comments here. So I'm going to select 2 other winners that we'll be sitting with on Monday as well. Here we go. First winner, please take the picture over there. There's our first winner that will be joining me on Monday. I want to spend as much time with you guys whenever I can. And Nikki Page, you are in as well for Monday. Awesome. And you'll be sitting in, obviously, for the backstage event. Guys, we need to get these likes up. We need to get these likes up because remember what I said. We're going to make the school bigger than 100 entries. We're going to make this maybe a couple thousand. And I need to know you guys have the backing we need to get these likes up. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. So, guys, moral of the thing, end of the way we're finishing off here is Bitcoin's got a plan. It's bouncing beautifully here. We're getting a very strong 8-hour candle and volume is starting to come in. So that's a really good sign for the reversal, for the bullishness. I am buying these dips and it's 70% of my portfolio. The only thing that will change my mind is if we make a lower low, I will then be laddering out on the next test to the upward side, which means we make no loss in the market. Everyone is selling before the cross of death. It makes sense, guys. So this is the damage from the cross of death. When it happens, everyone already knew it was going to happen. So this is where they sort of play with your mind. So all of those coins, all those lists, stock it up. If you are new to trading, make sure that you are ready to start that system. So build your whole system. And if you are an investor already in the market, split your portfolio. Make sure you got 70% in. Make sure you got a little bit to play with next week. And make sure we obviously have the cash section for any further dips that are in the market. So guys, I hope you had a great session. I really had fun teaching today, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I will be keeping all updated on Twitter.
Crypto Benta for you. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. Crypto Benta for you. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. Crypto Benta for you. Smash that like.
Guys, I've seen you guys. I like it. You guys are joining me on Monday's session. You guys will be in. I appreciate all of it. I love all the work that's going in. Have a great weekend, guys. Trade safe. Here's the disclaimer. No financial advice. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all on Monday.